everyone, and welcome to this edition of Go Williams Lake. I'm your host, Christina Jung. Now, Williams Lake is known for a lot of things. For example, the Timber Kings, or some would say Carey Price, or even Rick Hansen. But you know, there's really one thing that Williams Lake is known for, and that's rodeo. I'm here at the 25th anniversary of the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo. It's actually a very exciting event that marks the first weeks of spring, but it's also one where families can come out of hibernation and enjoy an exciting event. So when I was planning for the indoor rodeo, I actually had no idea where to begin. So I decided to give a good friend of mine a call. Alexis! Hey!
Hi everyone, I am Alexis Purcell and welcome to the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo.
So Alexis, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to for the past year for those in the community that might not know?
Yeah, for sure. So I was the 2012-2013 Williams Lake Stampede Queen, and in the fall I competed for Miss Rodeo Canada 2015. I'm back here in Williams Lake and I'm the new coordinator for the Williams Lake Stampede royalty as well as the pageant contestants. I'm also part of the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo and I'm helping out with the merchandise booth and wherever needed.
Wow, that's a lot of work. On top of all of that, you've actually been here at the Indoor Rodeo for the past 3 days helping us out. So can you tell us what the first event was that kicked off the 25th anniversary here today?
Absolutely. So we started off the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo weekend with the Gustafson's Dodge Cowboy Carnival. And it's a popular event for kids under the ages of 10. It's completely free. So this is where we get to meet with the new up-and-coming cowgirls and cowboys, as well as a few that are just testing out rodeo for themselves.
Rodeo is a big part of Williams Lake and it remains as one of the most popular family entertainments around. For a few years now, the Cowboy Carnival starts off the 3-day festivity. It's an event that focuses on family and the generation of rodeo.
I've been born and raised most of my life here in Williams Lake. I've been rodeoing since I was 8 years old. My great-grandpa, he was a mountain racer. My grandpa, he rode bucking horses. My dad and all his brothers rode bulls, so my sisters and I are first-generation barrel racers and ropers.
In fact, Tara's first thought of a children-friendly event during her time as a Stampede Princess.
I went over to the CFR, seeing they had a thing called Rodeo Magic, similar to the Cowboy Carnival, and I wanted to bring that back to Williams Lake to let the kids here do it, because I know a lot of them don't get a chance to try it.
And while the kids were busy pretending to be like their favorite cowboys, we caught up with a few local celebrities.
My favorite memory would actually be my first time competing in it, because that was the first rodeo I'd ever competed in, so it was pretty cool being hometown.
One year, I was pretty young, my sister got put in the pig scramble, and she went out there and we're watching and we're laughing at her, she couldn't keep up, and then all of a sudden she caught the pig, and my mom was scared because the rodeo clown told her she could take the pig home.
My favorite memory was last year when it snowed. I was the only one in the queen competition and it was snowing as I was heading to the indoor arena down at the rodeo grounds.
Last year as contestants, we were about to come out of the tunnel and Kyra and I were walking through and we both tripped at the exact same time and we landed on one of the inductees and he caught us and then we walked out and it was probably the highlight. I mean, it was adventurous. We had so much fun.
And that's what the Indoor Rodeo is all about. With 25 years of great memories and fun, here's to 25 more. A love for horses, riding, and rodeo is the common interest that holds this group of ladies together. Known as the West Coast Thunder Drill Team, their performances have now become a tradition at the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo.
Well, we usually start off by doing the grand entry, which is a fast pattern where we're carrying the sponsor flags. And then it's not quite often at halftime we do a halftime show of our drill, which is a 6 or 7 minute choreographed dance on our horses.
And while that drill may only last 6 to 7 minutes, it's the hours of practice and dedication that help make it successful.
It's easier for us to move ourselves around rather than try to move ourselves and our horses around. So we can work things out with us on ground and then get on our horses and do it. And then before a performance, it just, because a lot of us move spots, so you kind of can check who you're crossing with, who you're doing different maneuvers with. It's easier to do on just with us, not have to worry about our horses.
And although these horses are not a part of every practice, they're more than just animals, they're very much an important teammate.
My sister's horse Cowboy that I told you I was riding, there was another girl, Brittany, that rode him last year because he was just getting old. And as we were all riding, the announcer said that this was his farewell performance, and it's gonna make me cry now. And we all started crying. And
you have to be prepared, your horse has to be prepared, and it all has to come together all at once. And sometimes it's a little difficult. And each rodeo is very different, and your horses have to deal with very different obstacles and things to overcome. So it takes some time.
Despite the challenges and heartbreak, these girls are more than just a drill team, they're family.
I love the getting together. We get together once a week to practice, so we get to see each other once a week. We practice, we talk, it's hugely social. And then when we go to the rodeos, you get to camp, you get to spend the whole weekend with your horse, which at home you're busy doing a bunch of other different things. So here you get to spend with your horse and your girls, and it's a lot of fun, yeah.
The West Coast Drill Team has been a part of the Indoor Rodeo for 8 years now, and as the crowd gets ready to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo, these girls are busy preparing for that ever so popular opening drill. Did you see that little girl? She can really rope, eh?
I know, and what about that little girl and her pony?
Super cute.
I even got to meet Dennis Halls at the Rodeo Clown.
I'm so jealous.
If you're jealous about that, you're going to love the next story. Check it out.
Hey, how are you? My name's Dennis Halstead. I'm a professional rodeo clown. Welcome to my crib. I'm getting ready for the rodeo. Why don't you come in and watch me get ready? See what it's like to be ready before the rodeo. Come on in. Actually, about just over probably 15, 16 years ago. Of course, I was a full-time Calgary firefighter for 30 years. I retired a couple years ago. But about 16 years ago, they had a charity rodeo for children that Calgary Police and Calgary Fire would put on every year. So they had a big name clown scheduled to show up and appear to fight bulls and clown at it. And a week before he backed out, and I just happened to be at the meeting and said, I'll do it. And I went and did their rodeo, and then the guy came up after that rodeo to hire me, and basically that's how I started. And it's not something that I ever dreamed I'd be making a living doing. So I love to entertain. I like being in an arena, and you guys have seen me here the last couple of days and stuff. It's an adrenaline thing. I mean, the bull riding itself, is an adrenaline rush. It's one of the top extreme sports in the world. For me, I get just as much of a rush out of working a crowd and the big crowds and having fun and getting them responding to different things I do. So, no, I've never been in it for the money. I just love to do what I do.
Whoa, what the heck is that? Oh, boy,
I'll be honest. Anytime you're playing with a 2,000-pound animal that wants to kill you,
Yeah, of course.
you better be nervous. But it's one of those things. It's having respect for the animals that we do. And I think sometimes in our sport we forget that we play a very dangerous sport. So when something serious does happen, it kind of wakes us all up and makes us realize what we're doing. So everybody has their own signature. It's kind of your signature thing. Of course, for me, it's my makeup, and there's very few guys that wear the yellow, and of course I wear the yellow boots, and I'm pretty well the yellow boot ones. So yeah, so it's just kind of a trademark.
Where do you travel to?
For me, it's pretty well 10 months of the year I'm on the road. I've been on the road now for a couple months. And for me, I've been actually fortunate enough to travel just about all over the world. I've been to Hong Kong, Australia. Yeah, and now I will be on the road basically now till the end of November, and I'll end up with about 140 performances before I'm done the year. I've been fortunate. I've won the 4-time Canadian Entertainer of the Year, and then, like I said, the Ram Circuit Finals I just got home from. I became the first person ever in Canada or the US to work actually all three of Pocatello, Oklahoma City, and Florida. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then of course the Canadian finals, and I've done pretty well all the finals in Canada and stuff. So, but you know what, I just look at God gave me a gift. I'm just lucky. All right, well hey, clown's pretty well ready to go. Hope you all had a good day. Thank you for coming and seeing my crib, and I hope to see you all at the rodeo. Have a great day.
Coming up after the break, we visit C+ Rodeo Ranch to learn more about Roy and his athletes.
And I got his autograph.
to Alexis. Christina is still my favorite.
Hey, didn't you go visit C Plus Rodeo stock?
I sure did. Actually, I found out that C Plus Rodeo has been the stock provider of the indoor rodeo for 25 years. So, of course, I had to go check out their ranch and find out what that's all about.
Come on, Bill, hurry up.
For 25 years, Roy and his family had been the sole stock providers for the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo, but their involvement with the rodeo world started long before that.
Our family ran a ranch, and we did a bunch of different rodeo events, and we started in the practice pen, and we bought a few bulls and some cattle. And as we got out of high school, we basically had an opportunity when another contractor sold his business to become a partner with him. And we started in that way, and 4 or 5 years down the road, we bought him out, and we kind of continued on from there. So the first rodeo that we did was 1984 at C Plus Rodeos, and I was first year removed from high school. My brother was still in grade 12, so we've been at it a while.
Now, with nearly 30 years of rodeo experience, Roy spends his days taking care of his athletes, making sure these animals are prepared for the big day.
I like to consider myself a general manager, and my athletes are the four-legged ones. So basically our job is finding them that work for the Cowboys, and it's a huge venture. You know, some of the horses will put 4 or 5 years into finding out what they are and if they're going to be successful, and the bulls the same thing. And like any other athlete, you know, sometimes they have great days, sometimes they miss, but you know, we do everything we can to give them a chance to succeed.
In fact, all the bulls at C Plus Rodeo are born and raised there, with tons of room to play, 1,000 acres to be exact. These animals receive all the TLC they need. Of course, with great care must come great performance.
So the bulls here that you see at the rodeo, we raise the majority of our bulls ourselves here on the ranch. The horses we buy from all over the place, and they're all bred specifically to buck. So the way the rodeo business works is the score is out of 100. The livestock provides 50 points and the contestant provides 50 points. So there's no doubt, the guys only can win if the horse competes up to their par. So what we're looking for is a horse that kicks over their head and gives the cowboy a chance to expose himself and make great rides. And the bulls, we're looking for bulls that change directions and buck and are wild and hard to ride. So right from the time they're born, from the time they're bred, to try to get them to be a great rodeo star.
While the rodeo expert works hard to treat these animals like the athletes they are, the rodeo stock industry is a risky one. It requires patience and maybe even a bit of luck too.
And it's a huge venture. You know, some of the horses will put 4 or 5 years into finding out what they are and if they're going to be successful, and the bull's the same thing. So some of the animals that you see at the stampede or the stand at the indoor rodeo, there's horses there that are worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And so we spend a lot of time with them.
Despite the gamble, Roy says watching these athletes grow, combined with the risk of never being for sure, is why he's been doing this for almost 3 decades.
The indoor rodeo in Williams Lake, for example, we buck Thursday night. We have a bit of a tryout session. We use it as a chance to make sure the grounds are set up how we want, and we use that as a chance to buck some young horses and some young bulls. That's what we enjoy the most. What Earl and I still enjoy our business is those young ones when you find the next one. When we go to the stampede and we buck our 10 best ones, we know they're going to buck. When we enjoy the rodeo business the most is with those colts and those calves, when you have a chance to see all my years of work, all our time feeding him, come to an end.
Coming up after the break, Gwen takes us back in time to 1991, and she also tells us her experience of 25 years of volunteering.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
I know, I'm not sure how he does it. But you know what's even crazier? The opening performance of the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo. Gwen really works hard to pull it all off.
I know. I mean, she really highlighted all the generations of rodeo. But you know what else I found out about Gwen? That she has been volunteering for the Indoor Rodeo Association for 25 years. That's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I had to catch up with her to find out how the Indoor Rodeo was like back 25 years ago.
Coming up with the opening performance for the 3-day-long indoor rodeo can be challenging, but for this rodeo queen, 25 years of volunteering with the association has made things a little easier.
Well, I've always been a horse person. I've always been around horses, and maybe not real competitive, but I've raced horses, and I think it was 69, my husband and I decided to get involved with rodeo and help put on the rodeo at Risky Creek. And I've been pretty much involved ever since then.
In fact, Gwen even remembers the first ever Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo back 25 years ago.
It was held at the Williams Lake Trail Riders out in the Stampede grounds. And I can't recall off the top of my head how many contestants they had, but it was fairly low and not a lot of room for people to come in and watch the show. But it was still a good show, and I remember working outside in a motorhome, taking the entries and looking after the secretarial type of work. So that was the first one, and then the next year it moved to the to the hockey arena, where it's been for the last 24 years.
And while the seats at today's rodeo are packed, that wasn't always the case.
We did not fill the stands for a lot of years, which was really surprising because indoor rodeo is so close and personal, and a good place to sit in there nice and warm in April. We did not fill the stands probably until into the 2000s, then we started packing the seats.
Today, the BCRA event is so popular it's hard to find a good seat. And 25 years later, Gwen is still a very active volunteer.
I've also taken over producing the opening act for the last 8 years now, I guess. And we've had them previously with the group that first organized our indoor rodeo. They put on some fabulous opening acts. And we tried to get the original guy to come back and help us, but he's in Vancouver and couldn't get away.
But that didn't stop Gwen from putting on her final opening performance for the 25th anniversary of the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo.
We actually did this back in 2006, and we wanted to reinvent it because it was really cool. It's kind of showing the family tradition of rodeo and the generations that carry on the rodeo. I will be doing the singing this year because that's how I wanted to leave the rodeo as my final, I don't know, to leave them with a memory, I guess is what I could say.
While bittersweet, Gwen will be stepping down with a smile, always remembering the 25 wonderful years with the Williams Lake Indoor Rodeo Association.
Our barn dance is so much fun, and I'm actually taking that evening off. We have a large group of people, kind of my age group, and the band is so good. It comes from Vernon. So I'm going to dance the night away. Yeah.
Well, that just about wraps up this episode of Go Williams Lake. As always, you can visit me on Facebook, Twitter, or even our website. Now, Alexis, I really have to thank you for all your help in the past 3 days.
Thank you for having me. I've had lots of fun.
I learned so much about the rodeo.
And I'm glad to be able to share my rodeo knowledge with you.
Will I be seeing you before that?
Absolutely. In the next 3 months, we will be expecting the Williams Lake Stampede. I hope to see you and you there.